Hi, cutie. These are Twizzler and Chewbacca's puppies. And we are going to change their strings here because, you know, in a week, they're not even a week old yet, and they've outgrown these little ribbons, so we tint them up each time to allow them room to grow, and they are growing fast. Big, fat, healthy little babies. We'll get you through these. So that orange ribbon, Trooper, I'm doing red, which is Tavis. Blue here. Blue, Titan. Oops. I know, I'm trying. This one has a shorter string. Because you're just too big. Are you coming up to say hi? Okay, we'll put you over here and here. I mean, that's some pretty big boys. Well, the orange is a girl. Okay. So your boys are blue, yellow. Where is yellow? Nope, sorry, wrong litter. Blue, lime, orange, red. These four. That was right. Well, four sweet girls decided they were just going to have puppies like dominoes last week. So 4 nights in a row I was up with these mamas. Oh, these Twizzler babies are big already. Probably just because I just did Layla's and hers are so small. I know, yes. They can't walk yet, don't have their eyes open, but they sure can scoot about just to want to find another puppy to curl up with and keep warm, because puppies cannot conserve their own body heat until they're a good 3 weeks old. Therefore, you can't bathe them. I was at a, you know, here you're allowed to come visit your puppies anytime. You know, of course, COVID threw that off a little bit, but I mean, if you're just immediate family, you can still come now. I mean, I just don't want people pulling up in 3 car loads full of people with grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and all the neighborhood kids in tow. It's not really a petting zoo. You're not going to be able just to walk around where all the dogs are, because, I mean, I've always had to disinfect because there are puppy diseases. So every time you leave, you know, I have to disinfect every place you've been. So you just come into the visitation room. We're in the grooming room now, and the visitation room, same as the grooming room, about 10 by 10 foot. So, I mean, it's not that big of a room to put, 10, 12 people in. So, there'll be plenty of time after you get your puppies home for everybody to come play with them. Let's go through these puppies here. But you can visit them anytime. I was at a conference one time where breeders said, oh, we have to limit our visitation days to 1 day a week, or a month, actually. 3 of them were proclaiming, and that was the best practice they could come up with, because every time somebody came to their house to see a litter of puppies, they had to bathe the entire litter, to which I was stunned and mortified. And it was actually the last breeder conference I went to. There were just several things, because this was a big golden doodle breeder group with all the best breeders in the world, supposedly. And I'm like, well, why are your puppies dirty? So, I mean, it's just a lot of red flags. I mean, and I talked to a lot of these people. They had I'm like, well, how many adult dogs do you have? And they're like 50. And I'm like, what? Your website don't show that many. And then they didn't like the way I did my website, because I list all my dogs out there. I just keep them on the website. I keep all their health documents on there, because believe me, it's a long process. Just going through, when you add the adult dog and you add the picture, then you have to go into another system and add each health document one by one by one. So it's a long process. So I'm not going to delete my dogs and add them every time I have a litter, which is what those other breeders were doing. So no, they don't put their health documents online. So, and they do health. I mean, it was a good organization for that. You did have to prove you got these health records to even become a member. But they didn't like that because they were having 50 dogs, and well, they're only going to list the ones that are, you know, a litter of puppies after they're born, and, you know, and then you gotta, so maybe they only have 3 litters. Oh, they look great. They only raise 3 litters a year. No, that's not what was happening. So then again, I was mortified. But I could go on and on about that conference, that I had so many eye-opening experiences. So I ran the other way because, and my education level was just getting so much past everybody else that I wasn't learning anything at conferences anymore. They were just picking my brain and getting all my information. So my puppies are always clean. If they do need a bath, they might get a bath around 4 or 5 weeks old. I like to do it whenever I wean mom from the puppies. That way, you know, mom, they got a fresh smell. They have a different smell and they're not looking for mom, and it just kind of throws them off and just, you know, gets them into a different routine and a different smell. And then they're not like smelling mom on the other puppies. So that kind of helps. So then I like to give them, so that's their first bath, usually 5 weeks old. And then whenever, right before the puppy goes home. So they're fresh smelling whenever you get your brand new cuddly puppy. So my puppies, I mean, they're going to stay cleaner than home breeders too, you know, and by home breeder, I mean somebody who actually does keep their puppies in their house. I keep mine on, well, they're in 6x6 foot kennel, and then they put your shredded paper in the back, so they get used to going on shredded paper. So therefore the grass is going to feel just like that shredded paper. So your training period on housebreaking should just be a couple of days. First couple of days, you just take them in and out every day. Because even if I would formally house train a puppy at 8 weeks old, I would give you the exact same steps for you to follow the first 2 and 3 days, because you're just going to walk them outside the door, because you have to teach them, this is your new house, this is the door you're going to be going in and out of, and then this is where you're going to go potty. So basically they're house trained when they leave here, because what I've done is they have their little back at their kennel is where the shredded paper is. That's their potty area. And then they have their clean concrete. So they learn how to keep their floor clean. So let's go through some of these Twizzler puppies. We have Tootsie. They all have wavy coats, so I'm not going to list that on their pictures. Just wavy, shaggy coats. Of course, non-shedding based on the DNA testing of the parent dogs. Tootsie here, she has a lot of white, you know, white toes. She's very, very cute. Lots of white on the head. And then we flip them over. We get them all used to just being held in all different positions and being rubbed all over. They've now lost their umbilical cords, but she has lots of white toes and just adorable. No, 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 no. No, you get to, oh, I know you don't like that. Then we just do it more, don't we? Oh. Sweetie. So at this age, it doesn't mean anything because they don't even have their eyes open. So they have to get used to all different people holding them. See, now she's settled down. I got her. Oh, I'm relaxing. I'm just going to fall asleep. Okay, we're going to put you down. Purple Taffy is right here. These are all good, strong, healthy puppies. Oh, I don't want to bore you here, huh? Oh, sleepy puppies. Look at her. Get a little white on your head. Little white spot there yet. I think I showed that on a different video. Your first video. Little white spot there, but that's it. Look at her. Oh, just so tired and sleepy. I just go sleep. Hey, where you going, boy? Okay, we'll get this blue boy. Is Titan. A little bitty white kiss on his head there, and that's about it. Next, the lime one here is Teddy. I know. Oh, you like being held, don't you? Got that white spot on your head. Little white on his chest. Tavis. Little white there on his chest yet, and then the top of his head looks like a little heart. Yeah, little angel wings, right? And then we're going to wake this one up, Trooper. A little Trooper there, white on his hands, and I got a little girl trying to crawl out of this little pan here. Little orange Trooper. So he has some white on his chest, little white hind toes, tiny tip on his tail, but that'll go away too because, well, that'll stay there, but it'll only be like 10 little white hairs at the very tip of his tail. You know, then he's got the little angel wings, little heart. Look at that little heart, a little kiss on his head. So there they are. They don't have their eyes open yet. That'll happen about 2 weeks old. So maybe by the next video or pictures, they'll be peeking out. So there's a glimpse at Twizzler and Chewy's puppies. My little Chewbacca's an all-star here. He is 11 years old now, and he's still perfectly healthy. I know some people have asked why Chewbacca has so many tests under his heading, health testing, where some other dogs don't. Well, their newer dog, the newer DNA companies, they're doing like a whole panel, you know, and that's just technology over the last, 10, 12 years, or 18 years that I've been testing. You know, when I first started testing, there was one company that maybe did just 5 or 6 of your diseases that were most heavily carried in the dogs. And then, so in the beginning, then that was the only company, and it was actually based out of the Bahamas. And then some other companies, like one did coat testing and color testing. You had to go to another lab to do your PRA testing. You had to go to another lab to do DM testing. So that's why there's so many different tests out there for Chewbacca. It's kind of like every time this new test was created or they could test for something else, then I kind of did it along the way. So now it's very much more, it's great. You get that panel test done. You can get them all tested at one time instead of, organizing and going to this lab and that lab. So you would you'd order your kit. The kit comes to your house. You do your DNA sample and you put it back in the mail, and then you wait for the reply. So what I was doing is like having to wait for this result to see if I wanted to go on to the next, and because these tests are costly, and then the next and the next and the next. But now we have full panels, and there's like 3 different companies that already do those. So it's become very common practice. They're just going to test for all like 300 dog diseases on just one DNA sample that you return. But that's our sneak peek for this week. Lovely little sweeties.